Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. How's it going? It's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Welcome on YouTube. Welcome on Rumble. Welcome to the world. If you're tuning in a little later, this is still going to be live for you. Please let us know where you're tuning in from in the comments. Like wonderful people are in the live chat here. I saw Goran Milosevic is here. Good to see you, brother. Three Pad is here. Lee Barnett is here. Haven't seen you in a while. Frank Kiss, need to know. DJ Trump, good to see you. God bless, my friend. I see Linda, Darcy. As I said, let us know in the live chat where you're tuning in from. Dreaming Kool-Aid, Rachel, good to see you. And as I said, let us know from where you're tuning in from. It's always inspiring to see this kind of go all over the world. Remember, please, with me, tribe, we're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free through this transformation, through these really intense times. They're intensely revealing, but they're also intensely beautiful because of all the new things that are coming up. Today, we want to talk about the new economy as we're seeing a system crash, and our special guest is going to talk about that as well. He's someone who's been successful in the old economy, is now successful in the new economy, actually is building it from the ground up. And I'm not speaking about a system that is being imposed on the people. Once again, I'm talking a system that is built, for the people, by the people, through the people. And that's the beauty of it. So without further ado, as everyone's tuning in, let me welcome our wonderful friend, soul brother, chief storyteller, visionary, and CEO at Food Forest Abundance, Jim Gale. Hey, my friend, how's it going?
It's going beautiful, John. Thank you for everything you do in the world. I love your show. I can't wait for a new episode to come out. And I'm so happy and I'm so excited and inspired to share the simplest, most logical economy that we could ever even imagine. And, Bill Mollison is one of my heroes. He's the founder of permaculture, which stands for permanent culture, which implies not only sustainable, but a culture of epic abundance. And he said, though the problems of our world are increasingly complex, the solutions remain embarrassingly simple. And I'm standing in and demonstrating the solution to all of the world's biggest problems. And we can get into that. I can debate that because people say that's crazy. When we put food forests, well, first of all, when we become aware of the poisons and we take out the poisons, we simply turn our back on the poison producers. When we do this at scale, and we start using our land wisely, then this is the economy of abundance right here in front of you.
And Jim, as you're showing us this, and as we will learn more about the current project and the great successes that you all are having, we also need to realize what this old system has taken from us, right, for such a long time. It kept us in this loop competition of fighting over. We were really fighting over interest to pay the interest on the debt collectively, and we created this violent culture, really. And it doesn't have to be that way. But quickly, before we move into the beautiful solution energy, what do you see with our current old economy system happening? What is your projection? I mean, you've been in the economy for a long time. You've been in the financial sector, used to be. So you have a lot of experience. What's your take on what's happening currently?
Well, so yes, I started a mortgage company. I didn't know what mortgage meant at the time. I was 29 years old. I was dead broke. And my first goal, and most people's first goal when they're dead broke, is to get money, because money is the foundation in our current society. Without money, you cannot be free. The more indebted we are, the more enslaved we are. So I was in that industry in 3.5 years from scratch with no industry knowledge. My company did $1.3 billion in revenue. And I learned a lot. And I also learned, in fact, the show The Big Short nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
And And I said, I don't want to be in this company. I don't want to be in this. So I sold my company and I went and lived on the ocean for a year. And I really meditated on what do I want to do next? And at the time, I didn't understand the three forms of evil that are in our society. There's the psychopathic evil. You've got wicked people who have sold their ethics for whatever price that they could get for it. They in from spiritual evil, they sold their soul, right? And then from AI evil, they sold their autonomy, right? And those are the three forms of evil that I'm aware of, and there's probably a bunch more. But what we're talking about here is literally the the new economy it's born in abundance. It's born in this idea of freeing first our minds and our hearts, freeing our energy, because our energy is currently controlled by those other three forms of evil. So when we can realize that, see clearly without programs, with our real eyes, then we can make new decisions and have
We lost you there, Jim. We lost your audio. Yeah, we lost Jim for a moment here. We'll wait for him to come back. What I'm echoing here, and what Jim and I have been talking about so often until he comes back, is that people don't make the connection between. Are you back, Jim?
yeah,
Can you hear us, Jim? Okay,
yes,
you're back. So basically, what I was
I
just
can,
saying,
yes, perfect.
you are speaking about permaculture, permanent culture. But really, if you look at it
Yes,
from a bigger picture, you're saying there is abundance in nature. It's always been there. And we are simply
yes.
reconnecting with that abundance. But how does that translate into real life actions? That's the first thing. And how do people replicate that process in other areas of the economy when they have different talents? Not everybody is going to be attracted to working with and on the land all the time. How does that translate? How do you see various talents thriving in this new economy?
So behind me, I've got a crew, my partners who are installing a food forest. They're installing a freedom landscape at a school. Now, the value of this landscape is infinite, and I'd like to start at the ground level and show you how infinite this is. This banana costs us maybe $25, $30. It costs us another $30 or $40 to get good soil. It costs us maybe, let's call it $100 to put that banana plant in the ground. Within 12 months, maybe 15 months, that banana plant will produce not only 80 to 100 poison-free, incredible bananas, but it will also produce pups that then can be either traded or sold or given away to other members of our community. So the return, in fact, one of my favorite quotes, you can count the seeds in an apple, but you cannot count the apples in a single seed.
Oh
So
yeah.
then what we do with that is we say, okay, we know for sure that this is the solution to our dis-ease and disease, to cancer, to diabetes, to heart disease. And we ask the question, how can we create value? The voluntary exchange of value, how do we create value for people? And that's where the permaculture principles and process comes in.
And so now you're speaking about this project at the school, which is the first of many to come. But you also told me in Africa, in a country in Africa of all places, you just secured a huge project, I think on 80 acres. Can you tell us how this economy is? And it's local there. It seems global because you're in the States, but it's actually local there. That's the whole idea. What's happening there?
So we think global and we strategize globally and we act locally. So what we do is we create the structure. In fact, for lack of a better analogy, the franchise model has some true benefits to the model. It also has some hooks. We threw away all the hooks and now we only focus on the benefits. To be more specific, our company has no non-competes, it has no patents, and it has no NDAs. Anybody can share anything they want regarding our company other than our logo. And if people want to help their communities be free, we start by creating a kind of a structure using the permaculture principles, where we create what's called Freedom Farm Academies. A Freedom Farm Academy is a culmination of all of the components of freedom packed into an acre homestead. And these components are amazing. Beehives, right? Bees not only produce honey, but the pollinators help your food forest grow faster and create more yield. Aquaponics, where you've got a fish pond. The fish not only are incredible to eat, but the manure from the fish pond, using a simple off-grid solar system, can fertilize and irrigate the food forest. And then we can stack in the healing modalities, so people can come to these healing experiences and they can be in complete abundance. And that's what we've created here. That's where you and Kristin visited here in Central Florida. I'm living this. We're creating an off-grid homestead with all of the food, water, and energy needs met on site. And from this homestead, we have inspired, just in the first 12 months, a lot of people around the world to do the same thing.
Oh yeah, 100%. And we're speaking about, there's new Freedom Farm Academies being planned and beginning to be implemented now on a daily basis. We speak about this. Wonderful people are coming together. And the beauty of this is the old system was based on fiat. It was based on money that was disconnected from any true value, not even precious metals anymore. It was out of thin air. And it created all these horrific financial instruments that are now hurting everyday people, and that have continually transferred real wealth, real abundance, physical assets from the working class to the wealthy class. This has been the system. Now we're putting the wealth in the ground, and that's the foundation for the new abundance system. It's really rooted in something that everybody needs, everybody will benefit from. And so do you see that in the next few years, we will also switch over to a new currency system that reflects that real abundance in the ground?
Oh, I know it, because it's just logical. Our current fiat system is meant to fail, and the failure of the system results in more control by the people who prop up the system, right? When Kissinger said, if you want to control people, control food. If you want to control the world's currency, that wasn't just a rambling madman. That was the guy who met with every US president. That was the guy who appointed Klaus Schwab. So the true economy is the economy of local trade, local barter, local everything, local food, water, and energy self-reliance. And another thing that's incredibly important in the now is to get with your friends and family and your local community. Find out who's awake, find out who is basically willing to participate in the security of your community, and then strategize with them. And that's what we help people do. We give people the roadmap so they can not only become free themselves and their families. And this is so relevant. If I'm the only one that has food in my community, then that is not food security. Food security is when everybody has food, and that's what we're all about.
I love it, Jim. And what's your advice to our viewers? A lot of our viewers are experiencing this beautiful shift inside. They feel a spiritual awakening. They feel a purpose finally, like something they knew was there, but now they can feel it, and they aren't willing to go back to a cubicle. They aren't willing to slave away in a system that's not really benefiting them. What is your advice for them in this new purpose-based economy? How to get started? How do you get from, okay, I understand this now, to, or understand this now, to actually taking physical action? What's a good way to do it?
So the first thing to do is, for me, was let go of the fear and adopt a free mind, a freedom mindset, an empowered and encouraged mindset. And how did I do that? Well, I recognize that we are more than this. This is a temporary experience where the bigger me is not temporary, it's eternal. That is so fundamental. Because if we believe that this is a temporary experience and that somebody could harm us, then we might be able to be controlled through fear or shame or humiliation or any of these diversive systems that are prevalent through our mainstream media narrative, the programming. So that's number one, is to breathe, check your thoughts, allow your thoughts to be silent. And then with that, and what will help with that is go be with the soil, right? This dirt is the cleanest thing we can have. This idea of dirty, and then now we need to add poisons to the system to somehow kill the dirt. The dirt is the foundation of life. So now let's go outside, stand barefoot, or sit in a food forest and look at the abundance everywhere. And then take it to the next level, right? Get very thoughtful and strategic about this. Okay, I love being outside. I love being in nature. I feel so connected and happy and healthy. Now, how can I bring this joy that I'm experiencing to my friends and family and community? And then that's the business model that is based on the voluntary exchange of value. It's regenerative capitalism, capitalism that has no hooks. It's only about doing good and then getting a return, a yield for the good that we do.
So what you're also saying is that you envision a future where more and more people, if you want to use terminology from the old system, are going to be self-employed. They're not going to be answering to a boss. They're not going to be on someone else's time and clock. They're going to be on their own time and clock, and they're going to be doing what they desire to do. And you and I, we both say you can start today. You can really start today. And then there's the other aspect, Jim, of people that have done well in this old system, and now they're sitting on a few $1,000s of savings, or they're sitting on a few $1,000,000. What do you, as someone who's been in all kinds of industries in the business world, what's your suggestion of a good investment right now?
So 2 points. One is if we don't become self-employed, then there's going to be one employer very, very soon.
Yes.
And that is going to be the governmente. So it's time to get self-employed. And here's the thing. Don't just quit your job if you need that job to pay your bills. Start out by turning off the effing TV, right? Turn off the TV and turn off the radio unless you're listening or watching something that is bringing you into the state of mind and the state of awareness where you can start serving, right? So then if you have already done that and you've got millions of dollars, the best investment that I can imagine, and I'm putting my fiat where my mouth is, I'm putting my fiat into the ground and composting it because it is shit. It is going down. Every single plant here is going up in value exponentially relative to the fiat that it took. So now this is where it gets exponentially exciting. The Freedom Farm Academy, we have attracted world leaders like yourself, Jean. I'm so thankful and honored that we are communicating. And these world leaders like yourself want to be part of this. So now let's invest our fiat into these world leaders all around the world where they can have Freedom Farm Academy studios where you can be actually demonstrating freedom while we're talking about what it means to be free. So we've created an investment structure. And by the way, the money, here's exactly how it flows. The money flows to Food Forest Abundance, and it immediately gets put into the hands of the operator of the Freedom Farm Academy. The operator will then, with the help of our incredible team around the world, will then design and install a food forest and a homestead with all of the factors. So the money is going into creating valuable, productive land. Food producing land in the midst of a food supply chain disaster. It's the most logical investment I can imagine.
It's the most logical investment, and it's also the newness of this is not to occupy land and to extort from the land. This is to free the land again and bring it back to its natural beauty and thriving state. We're literally reparadising the earth because that's what it's meant to be, what it's meant to do. So, Jim, I couldn't be happier that you're standing on a school ground because you're not just bringing value to a community. You're actually educating, or the next generation is educating themselves. How have the kids been reacting to what's going on, the installing of the food? How's that working out? And what are the kids saying?
So when kids plant something and then they're able to harvest some berries or fruits or anything from something they planted, they automatically love it way more than if you go and buy it at the store. And I think everybody can relate to that. There's something innate about being stewards of our incredible earth, where when we connect with a plant and then that plant gives us something in return for the love that we give it, for the home, I've never grown a plant in my life. I don't grow this mango tree. We give the mango tree a home, and the mango tree feeds us for a lifetime. In fact, for more than a lifetime. My great grandkids could come here and they could eat mangoes from this tree that the students helped to take care of and plant.
Jim, our shared vision is to see food forests in every neighborhood, to see food forests on public grounds, to see food forests on church grounds, to see food forests on school grounds, to see them on corporation grounds rather than pesticide infested lawns everywhere. Now, if people are listening and watching, and people always get inspired by you because you are the real deal. Every conversation, you are the real deal. You are who you portray here. You know, that's exactly who Jim is. He's so excited about what he does. We're so excited about what we do together. Jim, how do investors, everyday people, homeowners, or those that want to be, how do people get in touch with you if they want to start a Freedom Farm Academy, if they want to invest, or if they just want to take the next step to be food independent themselves? How do they get in touch with you? What's the journey?
I love it. We serve on every level. So if somebody has $5, we will help you turn that $5 into some plants. If somebody wants to turn your whole yard into a food forest like this, then reach out to us either way at foodforestabundance.com. And also, and then the link in the show notes is the best place to reach out to us at. And then also, if you want to be a demonstrator, if you want to live an off-grid lifestyle that demonstrates freedom, we would love to work with you anywhere in the world. And if you want to invest in a food forest or an operator of a food forest, we can do this. We're very creative using the permaculture principles. And there's one more thing that I'm so inspired to share. We are at Gauss Landing going to add a school, a classroom to our food forest. Now, this I was in awe. I had tears in my eyes this weekend as this was all coming together like a download from source. The school is going to be based in and operating out of the food forest at Gauss Landing. And
That's
2
amazing.
hours a day, right? The class, and here's where it gets nuts. It's a private school. So the parents will pay the teachers. And then the students' jobs, their primary objective as students is going to create self-reliance for themselves and their families, first of all, and then for the communities. So every day the students will be in the community designing and installing abundance for the community.
I love it so much, and I love how the idea and the vision is expanding. I want to encourage everyone. Link in the video description. It's real easy. We'll put it in a pinned comment as well. Go check it all out and realize this. If you begin sharing this vision, talking about this, sharing our conversations with your friends and family, can you imagine how many of the people out there will have some sort of landscaping installed on their properties? Now they can have edible landscaping. It's going to be more beautiful than ever. It's going to feed their families. It's going to create excess value. They can even make money off it. It's absolutely amazing, this whole vision and the franchise of it all, if you will. Although we don't like using the word, but it describes it. You have created a system that works, and it's local. It's benefiting local economies. This food forest at that school is going to benefit the whole community. And I envision that if we speak in 6 months, a lot of the people there will have installed their own food forests. In 12 months, it might be hundreds of people in that area. Is that what you envision, Jim?
Oh, that's exactly right. With the help of the students who now get to learn about economy. They get to learn about business. They get to learn about the real stuff in life, and not this incredible system that we have now that is meant to control slaves, right? This is a freedom educational system to the max.
Jim Gale, thank you so much again for joining us today. Thank you for joining us from the heartland of America is the gardens, is the schools with real people, real visions. We're so excited about what's to come. We're going to share more with you. Thank you once again for tuning in. We love you, brother. And Inspire Tribe, I encourage you, really go check out the link, Food Forest Abundance. It's in the video description. Look it up, educate yourself, become part of this vision. We can't endorse it more than we do. With all our hearts, we're invested in this vision. We love what is happening. And Jim, in about 6 months, this is going to be unrecognizable, right?
Oh gosh, it's gonna explode because we're adding compost tea. We're adding the logical elements that help these plants thrive. And in 6 months, that thing will be 5 times as big, that papaya tree or this cherry tree. Isn't that fun?
Oh, I love it so much. Thank you again, Jim. Thank you, Inspired Tribe. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll be back with you all very, very soon. See you later, Jim.